Today we celebrate 1 week since the launch of Just in Time, and I'm going to show you proof that this is the most powerful thing on the internet when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization. Many people do not know, even today, that the most important thing that you need to do is optimize your website in the search engines, because that is where the majority of sales come from. It doesn't come from pay-per-click advertising. The only reason pay-per-click advertising works is because it drives your site to the top of the search engine, but nowhere near as fast or as cheap as Just in Time does. So here we're going to just give you a little bit of education on why. First off, if you have a website, there's over 1 billion websites online. If you don't advertise your site, no one's going to see it. No one's going to stumble upon it. It's the whole reason for the dot-com bubble and the bursting of the dot-com bubble. Everybody came out and bought their websites and paid for, all of this fancy websites and hosting and all this other stuff back when it was really, really expensive. And they paid for the website, and it didn't do anything for them at all, because then it was a matter of, you've got to advertise it. You've got to get it out there so people can see it. And people just eventually stopped. They did it for a while, different people did it, and then the bubble burst, because without traffic to your website doesn't exist. The ones and zeros that make up the pretty pictures and all the information do not become something until somebody puts that address in to the browser. So this is why SEO is so important. It is a $65 billion a year industry if you count only the top companies, because that's all the data they can use. They don't count all of the tons of little guys out there that do SEO, or the small companies, or companies in different countries and that sort of thing. They have no way of tracking that, but the official figure is $65 billion a year. When you consider that the true value of pay-per-click advertising also factors into SEO, then it becomes a nearly $1 trillion a year industry. So, and why does pay-per-click factor into it? Because it is a fact that people that buy anything, less than 1% do so on the first contact. The way that advertising is situated, there's no way you're going to hit the same people twice. You would have to it would just be impossible. That's why they introduced this whole little ad roll thing, where the ads follow you. Like, once you click on an ad, then all of a sudden everywhere you go you see that same ad, but it only follows you for a short period of time, and really it doesn't make up for that, because again, it's not that type of a thing. It's not like, okay, I saw it and then I saw it again 20 minutes later, and I saw it again 20 minutes later, and I saw it again 20 minutes later, and all of a sudden that makes 5 or whatever. It doesn't work like that. So that's what they were trying to solve, and it didn't work, and you don't even see it as much because people aren't willing to pay that higher price, and it ends up costing the advertiser more money, and I'll tell you why. Because they're going to pay anytime someone clicks. So let's say I decide I want to buy this really cool set of pots and pans, so I look it up, and or maybe I see it in an ad, okay, and I decide, I think I'm going to get those, but of course, most of us do not buy instantaneously. So then later you're sitting around with your friend on the computer, and you're like, oh yeah, look, I'm going to get these. So you click on the ad again to show them. And then the advertiser is paying again, and you're not going there to buy it, you're just showing your friend. So it came up and sort of has really, really faded away. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. When it first came out, of course, they sold everybody on the idea, and everybody thought it would work, and it didn't. However, why does pay-per-click work? Why do people pay for it if people aren't buying it? Because they have no way of knowing. What's actually happening is there's this thing in every single algorithm that they have to have in there in order to in order for their system to work, meaning, for example, if we use Google as an example, Google is the biggest advertising company in the world. They make billions of dollars a year off of pay-per-click advertising. That needs to cause a result for the people. And if we already know that less than 1% are going to buy when they click that, then, and you look at what it costs, it's an average of like $2.50 a click. So the people would quit doing it really quickly. So part of the algorithm is that if you have what's called bounce-free traffic, that's when someone clicks on your website and then they click on something else on your website. So they go to your website and they click on anything that's called a non-bounce, okay? That kind of traffic drives your site to the top of the search engines. I developed this system like 6 years ago, tested it out, worked fabulously, worked really, really great. And a lot of SEO experts learned from me, and now you see total changes in the way things are done. Now when you go to a news site, for example, because people didn't know this until I started talking about it, that if somebody goes to your website, especially a news site, you know, you see an article about something you want to read, you go to the website, you read the article, and then you leave. That's a bounce. That drives your website down, because as part of the algorithm, what they're saying is it isn't interesting. So what happened is nowadays you see when you go to a website, a news site, it has a little bit of information. It says click to keep reading. And that gives them that extra click, that bounce traffic. Now you're seeing that non-bounce traffic. That's why you're seeing when you do searches more results for news sites and magazines and stuff like that, because they do that, and that helps drive their site to the top of the search engines. But with all of that, it's still just a ratio. It's still just a ratio of you don't have to have 100% bounce-free traffic. It's a ratio, and it's not a very high ratio, like the number of people who click to the people who don't click. But it can't just be 100% non-bounce. That's why it's dangerous to go out and buy traffic for your website, because it's 100% bounce. It's just, you know, we're going to give you this many clicks to your website, and what that's going to do is drive you down in the search engine. So what I'm going to show you here is why it is the most powerful advertising out there. This is an independent site. It's called Pole Position. And what they're showing here is the cost of advertising. If you notice, it's a bunch of different types of advertising, from local television, network television, cable television, radio, magazines, direct mail, and you could pause the video to read this. And then we go down to search engine optimization. Now look at the cost of search engine optimization. And what search engine optimization does is it artificially increases your ranking in the search engines, because that's where the majority of sales come from. So you can do pay-per-click advertising. As you can see up the top of this page, it says, you know, paid search, essentially, where again you're still risking that traffic could drive your site down, okay? So, but if you look at all of these, you will see, for example, local television, a 30-second spot in the top 10 market is 4,000 to 45,000 plus, okay? Large number of consumers, but a small target audience. And then this next one, network television, very high number of consumers with a very low ROI, return on investors. So, and you're talking about 80,000 to 600,000 for a 30-second spot. And if you go through all of these, they're essentially telling you the same thing, that these are not effective forms of advertising anymore. You go down to SEO, though, it's the only one on the list that says exceptionally high. None of the other ones say even high. Exceptionally high return on investment as visitors are seeking your products and services in return to become regular customers. Meaning, when they find you in the search engines, that's when they're buying. So, for example, even if I saw the banner for those pots and pans, I'm not going to necessarily go buy those pots and pans, but I'll remember the name of them, and when it comes time for me to go buy them, I'm going to go to the search engine, I'm going to type in the name, and whoever comes up first, that's the site that I'm going to. That's why SEO advertising is so important. Not SEO advertising, but search engine optimization. It's very expensive, except if you look at the cost per action aspect, where all those other ones you're paying per action. With SEO, you're not. If you're on the first page of Google, it doesn't matter. If 1 billion people click on your ad, you don't pay for a single click. The only time you do is if you are an ad in the search engine. Then you're going to pay every single time someone clicks. So, and of course, that pay-per-click advertising is far more than the banner advertising that's on different websites. So, and it typically the typical contracts are 6 to 12 months. At $15,000 to $75,000 per year, you got to pay at least half of that. You go to an SEO expert and you say, I want to get my site to the top of the search engines. Some of them, very few of them, will tell you 3 to 4 months. Others will tell you, like in this case here, on average 6 to 12 months. The thing about SEO, though, is the search engines lose money to SEO, meaning they want their people that are buying the pay-per-click advertising to be up at the top, but they can't legally do that. So because it's against the law. So whenever they do find people doing something in particular that's raising sites up, they'll just program it into their algorithm and all those sites will come crashing down. And that's happened several times in history where some of the top websites in the world just totally disappeared. I mean, they lost millions, all from just a single change. But what I'm going to show you here is untouchable and hasn't, like I said, I developed this 6 years ago, and still to this day no one can touch it. And I'm going to show you how powerful it is. I'm going to debunk everything that you know about SEO and show you how powerful this system is. So here, first I want to tell you, why did I launch this system? I launched it because of a website that I had that was being de-indexed. That's when the search engines go in there and they say, we don't want you to be here. And so they drop, because they feel that there's some type of threat, some type of competition. So they go in and they manually de-index the site. And it really started to get on my nerves. And I thought, you know what? I'm here to help the small business to be successful. I'm going to launch this system. It'll help my site, and it'll help all these small businesses who can't compete against their competitors because their competitors have lots and lots of money to spend on pay-per-click advertising. So this system is so simple, you don't need to know anything about SEO. A child could do it. It's so powerful, and I'm going to show you how it will work if you have absolutely no SEO on your site at all. That's what I'm going to prove here, and show you that it's faster, cheaper than anything you can do. And another thing about this, you can do this immediately. For example, if you wanted to use pay-per-click to get your site to the top of the search engines really quickly, you couldn't do that. And if your ads are not being clicked on, they're going to show your ads even less. There's no way to say, I want to get this many people seeing my ads with pay-per-click advertising. There's no way to speed it up. Now, another thing is, if you have a website you're trying to monetize, a site, like a blog or something, and you want to attract big advertisers, the big networks are going to require that you have a certain amount of traffic to your website. There's no other way to do that except for just in time. Because again, if you try to drive that junk traffic to your website, the search engines are going to pick that up. They're going to know that it's junk traffic, and it's going to drive your site down. Because again, it's going to just be 100% bounce traffic. So, but let me dispel some of the myths for you. So our site, the site that made me so mad that just made me launch just in time, the site that I was trying to get up there was a site by the name of Your Web Base. Now, the first thing you're going to say is, Your Web Base, that's impossible to index because it's 3 very common words, and you're correct. Everybody would say, and everyone would bet huge money, there's no way you're going to index that site because it's 3 very common words. It's not like a word like Yahoo or Google or something like that. It's 3 of the most common words online: your, web, and base. So, but that was not the issue we were having. For example, if we put the name of our app and Google Play into Google, our app wouldn't come up. If we were in the Huffington Post, if we put Huffington Post, the name of our app, we wouldn't come up. We were in Entrepreneur Magazine. If we put Entrepreneur Magazine, our app was, and our app, it wouldn't come up. In fact, in the stores, in the App Store, it was showing that we had far fewer downloads, far fewer reviews than we had, because I had proof, because I have all these people that work with me. For example, even right in the beginning, it said we had 1 download for like a week, but we had 5 reviews. You can't review an app if you don't have the app, if you haven't downloaded the app. And I was seeing this stuff from the very beginning, and it went on for many, many months, so I finally just got tired of it, and this sort of unfairness, and so that's why I launched Just in Time. Not just to help us, but to help other people. Now to illustrate how powerful this is, because like I said, your web base, anybody would say you're never going to get that indexed. And now I'm going to show you how powerful Just in Time is. So 1 week ago was our official launch, and if we go here, not only was I able to, and there's nothing that they can do about it, okay? The only people that could possibly be doing this de-indexing on Google would have been Google, okay? So this is proof there's nothing that they can do about our system. So here, as you can see by this example here, what I did is I didn't put the name of the company, Your Web Base. I switched the words around to show that Just in Time did in fact index those 3 words. Anybody would say that's impossible. But as you can see right here, the first result is for our website. The second result is for our app. As you can see here, before, if I put this in right here, because it's called the Your Web Base Get Connected Android app on Google Play. If I were to put that in before Just in Time, it wouldn't come up. The only way I could get my link in the store to give to somebody is to actually go into the app, use the share feature, share it with somebody I know, and have them send me the link. There was no way to find it in a search engine. So, and as you can see here, the whole page is now about us, except for that these last two. The top is, and I can do anything with those three words, like put it in correctly, and oops, let's see what happens with that. And we're still number one, and it's spelled wrong. So we're still number one for the app, and we have dominated these impossible keywords. So, but like I said, it doesn't matter what order that you put these in there. We finally, not only do we have it for our actual name, which, as I said before, what wouldn't come up. Now it's any combination of those three, of the three words that make up our website. So the next thing I want to show you is I want to dispel this myth that you have to do SEO, that you've got to do something. You have to do SEO to your site to get to the top of the search engines. So what I'm going to show you right now, this is impressive. We're in the top 0.05% of all websites in the world in a very, very short time. But also you have to look at, this is not a low number. It's low in consideration. Like I said, it is 0.05% of all websites in the world. Yes, that's impressive. But it's not the kind of thing that, if you said I have, a site at 500,000, people will say, well, there's no way you're going to be able to get your site on the first page of Google with that. You're going to need tons and tons of backlinks, and then of course that will drive up your number. So here, and I'm going to refresh this to see if it changed, because it does change rather drastically from day to day. Okay, so it didn't change since the last time I updated. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to show you that there's only 14 sites linking in, and we're big. The top 5 doesn't show all 14 on here, but it's going to show the top 5. And you can see that none of these are top high traffic sites. Nothing to write home about. Only 14 of them. You show this to any SEO expert, oh, it's going to take me 6 months, or it's going to take me, like I said, some will say 3 to 4 months. If you pay me all this money, then I can get you all these backlinks, and then we can get you to the first page of Google. So 1 week later, SEO Traffic Network. There we are right there, page 1. And I will show you that it's page 1. You can see right here the one is darkened out, which shows that it is the first page for SEO Traffic Network. Now, that is huge to happen in a week. But what makes it really, really huge is every one of those SEO experts out there, the best of the best, are competing for anything that has anything to do with SEO in there. And here we are on page 1. So this shows you, and as I said, there's only 14 sites linking into it. This is how powerful just-in-time is. It's far cheaper, and you can demand what you want. When I say far cheaper, how cheap? You can actually use it for free. You can actually use it for free. You can earn the traffic, okay? But even if you said, okay, you could skyrocket the difference between what you could get as a free member and what you could otherwise get for just $24.95 a month. Literally skyrocket, gets tons more for just $24.95 a month. You couldn't get too many. You could get 10 clicks on Google for that, but SEO is probably going to cost you a lot more than $2.50 a click. 10 clicks ain't going to get you nowhere. It ain't even going to register. It's not even going to be a blip on the radar. Okay? So just as an example. Another thing is, if you decided I don't want to do anything at all, you can still buy our traffic far cheaper than you can buy. I mean far, far cheaper than you can buy pay-per-click advertising. You can order as much as you want and have it delivered right away. So if you are trying to attract a big advertiser and they say we'll let you use us as soon as you've got 5,000 visitors a month, or as soon as you got 10,000 visitors a month, you can go over there, buy that many credits, and you'll get 100% bounce-free traffic. Another way you can do it even cheaper is to go buy some of that cheap junk traffic that's really cheap and buy some of this traffic, because as I said before, ours is 100% bounce-free traffic. You don't need 100% bounce. So if you buy some of the junk traffic and you buy some of ours and you mix it together, you've got the right ratio to where it's the same kind of traffic that pay-per-click advertising generates. So no one needs 100% bounce-free traffic, but that is all we deliver. So we're talking about, it's like jet fuel. As you can see here, nothing touches Just in Time, and there is nothing that anyone can do about it. To do it would be suicide. For them to mess with the actual traffic to the site, the real traffic, okay? Because you can get people, they can mess with the whole, people buying visitors to their website, because they can see that they're not really real people looking at their website. Because if they were really real people, a certain number of them would be clicking on the page. But since that's not the traffic that they're delivering, it doesn't work like that. With ours, they're going to click on at least one of your pages. And it doesn't even matter how long they stay. It doesn't matter how long they stay. All it matters is that they clicked on the site. They can't mess with anything beyond that, because if they did, pay-per-click traffic would stop working for them, and then it's all over. Then they don't make money anymore. People stop buying it, and they're not going to do that. So again, there's nothing that works better than this. So there's no point in spending all this money on SEO when you run this risk of, one, you got to pay for it forever. Okay, you got to keep paying for it year after year after year. $15,000 to $75,000 is the average right now every year, and even by paying that, you still run the risk that the search engine goes in, changes the algorithm, then all those sites were using that SEO fall, and then the SEO experts got to work really hard under the new conditions, try to figure out what the new conditions are, and raise your site slowly back up. That cannot happen with this, because this is real traffic to your website. So if you have a website, you definitely need Just in Time. If you don't have a website and you're looking for a way to make money, there is no easier way that I can think of to make money online, because every single person with a website, that's over 1 billion people and companies, plus at least that many or more who are affiliates or in MLM or in direct sales, which means they all have the same website, but it has an extension on it. So it doesn't count in the 1 billion. It doesn't count to add if there's, 500,000 affiliates in there. It doesn't add 500,000 websites, because they all have the same prefix in the website. But all of the people, anybody trying to sell anything online, even people with YouTube videos, that's another huge, people with YouTube channels, all of these things are people who need this service. So all you have to do is give it away for free. And you might think, well, how can I make money giving it away for free? Because people who need this will buy it. It's only $24.95 a month. What they get for that are absolutely huge. And the people who don't buy it are going to go out and get other people, because again, they need to do something to earn more. If they're not going to pay, maybe they can't afford the very small amount, they are going to go get other people, and if any of those people pay, they become yours. The compensation plans, there's 4 total streams of income. 3 of them are exclusive to the people who pay that $24.95 a month. So you can build a huge network of people who are never going to go anywhere, who are going to stay here and keep using this year after year after year, just like people pay for SEO year after year after year. Except here, it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier. They don't have to worry about if the person that says they're doing all this stuff is actually really doing anything. They don't need to understand anything about SEO. This is the most powerful product, the most needed product on the internet, and it can make you an absolute fortune just by responding to all the spam you get. Just send them an email and say, thanks for the offer. I'm not looking for what you're selling me. This will probably help you. And just, like I said, there's lots of ways. We even teach you how. We even have a complete program that will teach you how